Alright, what's up, guys? Figured we would take a look at some interesting stories this evening. There's some from I don't know, some people might remember that I did a stream like this before back on stream.me when that was still a thing. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But I've pulled up a bunch of stories regarding encounters with parallel universes, which has always kind of been a subject that has interested me. I like a lot of fantasy stories that, rely on that as a plot device. I see PJ remembers. PJ Farms remembers. So I've got a couple of articles that compile a bunch of stuff, and then there are also two subreddits that I sometimes browse just for personal accounts of these things, which I think are interesting. I'm going to pull that up as well. I couldn't decide which one to look at first, though. So let's see, because this one's rather long, and then we also have the glitch in the Matrix subreddit. Yeah, okay, I get it. The name is corny as fuck. But then we also have our parallel universe. And these are just a collection of, personal accounts. So, take them with a grain of salt. But we're going to read most of them as though they are true, which, you obviously can't trust everything you read on the internet. And if some of them get, way too ridiculous, obviously, I would say be skeptical, but I don't want to shit all over them, because I think it's a point of interest. So did you like Steins Gate then? I have yet to see it. So I picked the series up on DVD. I have the entire series because I got it really cheap on a sale. I just have yet to pop it in and make the time for it. That's on my list. Am I still allowed to post here? Yes, you're allowed to post here. When have you not been allowed to post? Aside from, like, the few humorous mutes. Okay, so anyway, I guess since I'm right here, we'll start with a couple of these, and then maybe we'll go into the articles a little bit later on. Is this the Chrono Cross stream? Sure, why not? You know what, though? I think this is going to be better than Chrono Cross. Hold on, I got to slide my monitor over a little bit here. I'm trying to read chat with the secondary. Okay, there we go. That's better. Now I can actually see you guys. So I have the bot set up to bounce between YouTube and DLive, so everything will cross over. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what we got here. Also, if I'm scrolling and you guys see like a title that you're interested in or whatever, feel free to tell me to stop and read through it, and we'll do that, because I want to try to at least make it somewhat of a interactive experience for everybody. Future self, parallel universes, 1 day ago. All right, here we go. This one seems rather long, but we'll do it. About 6 months ago, I started to have really, really lucid dreams. These dreams were so real that I could remember them as if I had actually lived the moment. However, they never took place on our Earth. They were mostly in different universes where something had to change the outcome of things completely. To give you more insight into the next couple of paragraphs, I'm going to tell you guys that one of my biggest dreams in life, and how they relate to the dreams. One of them is becoming the president of Venezuela and marrying this girl I went to school with, which I'm dating right now. Literally. Okay, that's interesting. That's a weird aspiration, but here we go. Dream number 1. I find myself walking through a vortex, kind of like a portal, and as I get through the portal, and I appear in someone's body. However, I realize it's my body because how my voice sounds, and I'm guessing you would know how your body feels anyway. I see myself in the mirror, and I'm wearing a suit and tie, and then Venezuelan flag pin on my suit. A lady, my girlfriend right now, comes into the room where I was at and asks me, "My love, are you ready?" To this point, I think it's awesome that my brain is dreaming about something that I've always wanted. I've yet I've yet had to realize. Okay, that's worded a little bit weird, but whatever. I've had to realize that this was no dream. This was real. In the room where I was at, there was a small TV showing the news, in which one of the headlines said, "War between Earth 33 and Earth 86 is imminent." So is he dreaming of, like, I don't know, the Marvel universe or something? But I didn't pay close attention, thinking it was just a dream. CNN is still a major news outlet in that reality. Damn it, even in a parallel universe, we can't get rid of CNN. The lady suddenly kisses me and notices something strange, as if she knew it wasn't me or myself from her reality. She didn't say much. She just looked me in the eye and told me, "Let's go. The crowd's waiting for you." I asked, "What crowd?" As she pulled me by the hand, nevertheless, she stopped me just moments before I took the stage, and she said, "If you see Michael, tell him to stop doing this. He can't be toying around with you. He might mess up the timeline." And I woke up. Earth 69, Earth 420. Are those the two at war? Dream number 2. Like in the last dream, I find myself once again going through a portal, and I land in my doppelganger's body in another distant future or reality. This time, this Earth was indeed different. It had red skies and red grass. It was not a sunset because the time read 1:37 p.m., so everything was way different. I looked up and I saw a really billboard, I guess he means really big billboard sign, that said, "Welcome to Earth 52. What the fuck is this? Is this like oh boy. Welcome to Earth. I guess every other Earth is aware of the fact that Earth is surrounded by parallel Earths. We're the only planet that's, we're the only planet Earth that's in the dark on this. Hey TNK, what's up? Thank you for the 5 lemons. We are looking at posts about parallel universes. So I don't know if you're into that or not, but we're just dicking around here. I'm amazed that the same thing is happening to me again. Most of the dream happened at the place where I worked at. Not the same people worked there, but still it's crazy the similarities. I'm guessing English isn't this guy's first language. Either that or he just typed it really fast. Anyway, I see my reflection on the glass, and I see myself at the age around 40 or late 30s. I go inside and I say hi to everyone, and I see my old manager. He's happy to see me, and happy that I'm running a country. He wished me luck in the war against Earth 86. All right, this one's getting ridiculous already, let's just say. Lemon count going up. Hell yeah. What's up, Scud? He started explaining that his Earth, Earth 52, was neutral towards the war effort because it saw no real winners, and went on to talk about politics. Even though I didn't know anything about the subject, somehow I knew exactly what to respond. After what felt like an eternity, he thanked me for paying him a visit since he hadn't seen me in almost 5 years, according to him. After a few more minutes of chatting, I decided it was time to go, and as we shook hands and we said goodbye to each other, he abruptly pulled his hand away from mine and seemed confused as I was. A few seconds later, his face went back to normal, and with a smile on his face, he whispered, "Michael keeps playing with you, huh? Do you think it's fun to know what the future might look like?" And then I woke up. I'm Michael. I've had a few more dreams like this. If you guys think this is interesting, I'll share the rest. That wasn't really that interesting, though, right? I mean, to me, it just sounds like he's dreaming about, like, spiritually hopping into the body of himself in other versions of Earth, I guess, would be the best way to put it. But this whole thing of, like, Earth 52, Earth 86, what was the other one? Earth 30-something? 33? Yeah. It's kind of corny. It's like they're all aware of each other, I guess. What was his answer? Yeah, that's a good question too. He didn't say. He knew what to say, but he didn't know why he said it. I don't know. That one's kind of strange. Apparently a lot of people are intrigued by this in the comments, but I don't think that one's that interesting. It just sounds kind of like a video game story or like a comic book or something. I guess because the, Earth number, whatever. I really can't explain what just happened that well. Okay, so I wake up in the morning as usual. My family is already awake, and very loud since they're cooped up in the house. And I go and eat breakfast and stuff and just go about my usual routine. I go and sit on my bed and watch some TV, and I feel sleepy, so I go back to sleep. Wow, this is riveting stuff already. I wake up, and it's dead silent in my house. Everyone gone, like they just disappeared. The TV in the middle of a game, and I search the house and can only find my dogs, not even a trace of my family. So I go back to my room and watch some TV, still a little creeped out. That's when the power goes out. The power went out. In that exact second, my house was loud again. My family was back where they were and doing the exact same stuff where they had left it. Something's felt off with the house since before today. I once dreamed the walls were made of water. Can I get plebit gold too? Maybe. You have to share your story though, as though it's 100% real. I mean, this is kind of interesting, but I don't really understand the. I can only find my dog's part. Like maybe they went outside, The power outage thing. I don't know how to explain that one, but transported to somewhere else in time. Oh, this one was really corny. It was just like, oh, I kissed my boyfriend and we were transported to another dimension because it was so passionate. I'm like, fuck that. That's gay. Dreams of Parallel Earths. It's another dream shit. Wait, where was the one that I saw? Okay, this one sounded interesting. I guess I'll just go through this real quick. I died and started again on an alternate universe. So he lives ReZero. Trigger warning, attempted suicide. Are you guys triggered? Is anybody triggered by this? Just wondering if you're triggered. It's important to know. About 7 years ago, I went through a situation that nearly killed me. I didn't want to give too much detail, but I don't see any other way. I was very upset and tied myself to a rope, but I clearly remember taking the rope off and going to bed and try to sleep. After a while, I started hearing voices from outside. It was my parents, so then I woke up, and I was, and I was on the floor. Apparently, I didn't took the rope off, and I stopped breathing and all that stuff. Thing is, I know I did took it off. He has weird English as well. I remember it all, the saying goodnight to my cat and falling asleep while still kind of crying. So the way I see it, either you die and then you dream another life, or I went to a parallel universe where I took it off and then came back to one where I didn't. I don't know if this is the right sub, and English is not my first language, so sorry for any mistakes. Let's see. First off, really sorry that happened. I hope you're doing better. I'm wondering if it was maybe a hallucination due to lack of oxygen to your brain. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on Reddit. Okay, he didn't say that, but, it's funny. Let's see. Anything else? I need some interesting comments. These people are just like, well, you didn't die. It would kind of be interesting, though, if you could just... I've seen other stories before where it's like, I got into a car accident and, like, remember the whole entire car accident, but then they wake up and they're somewhere else. Those kind of stories are sort of interesting. This is what happens when you have sub 90 IQ. Jeez, come on now. They all try to do philosophy with Reddit posts. All right, well, do you want me to... We could switch over from Reddit. I mean, that's not the meat of this. Look at... How about a teleporting sock? Are you interested in teleporting socks? This one sounds pretty funny. Come on. Go to an alternate universe where they teach English. That would be important since apparently the majority of the users so far have not been very proficient with it. Okay, this literally happened to me like 2 minutes ago. Like 2 minutes ago, dude. So I was sitting at my desk drawing when my feet started to get cold. I didn't have socks on. So I got up to get socks. I got the socks out of my drawer and unwound them and went to sit back down on my spinny chair at my desk. Ooh, spinny chair. I put one of the socks next to me on my desk and put the other one on my foot. I'm wearing jeans, so it was hard to get the pant leg up. Oh, wow, we're going into, like, ridiculous detail here. Get on the sock of my foot and get the pant leg down without rolling the sock, blah, blah. After that whole process, yes, the process of putting on a pair of socks, ladies and gentlemen, I go to get my other sock, and it's just not there. It just vanished into thin air. My first thought was that it fell on the ground. So I get up out of my chair and look under my desk, under the chair, and all around both. I then go look in the drawer I just got them out of to see if I somehow left it there. I didn't. I was using a blanket at my desk because my room is just cold all the time. So I shook that out to see if it was in there. Nope, no sock. So I sit back down on my chair, accepting defeat, and decide to look down once more to see if I missed it. I bend down, and I crap you not, I fell from midair. Like, what? From the that was a really weird spelling. From the trajectory it was at, it would have been on my head, and why the frick was the sock on my head? Then I just sat there for a moment, wondering if I had gone insane. After I got over that, I went to tell my family, whose butts still... What? Whose butts still haven't moved since I told them, by the way, and they just looked at me like I had a third eye. My dad was just like, yeah, okay, shut up. I'm still really confused and still have chills. What's up, drum boy? Must be one of them Warcraft socks. I opened the drawer with my left arm, but it was stuck, so I held the drawer with my left arm. Eventually, the drawer opened. Wow, this is very descriptive writing. I saw a little bit of the flamenco conversation. That guy was aggravating, to say the least. See, how about, like, I don't know, we'll see where this goes. No one remembers my favorite singer. What's up, Heat Blaze? So I was walking my dog, and I bumped into my friend. Me and my friend have always talked about NF. Nate Feuerstein, or Feuerstein. Ever since I met him, we even talked about going to Glasgow to his Glasgow concert just past in about December time. Why does everyone talk so fucking weird on here? It trips me up because I'm used to reading normally. So when I come across something that's, just weird English, I'm like, what? What are you trying to say? Or, like, instinctively my eyes, auto-correct it. So as I saw him, we did our usual, said hey, stuff like that, 2 meters apart, LOL. I guess that's a social distancing joke. And I started talking about NF. He had a confused look on his face. I asked him, what's up with the look? And his reply was, who is NF? At first, I thought he was joking, but he was serious. I was taken back from it. I even showed our DMs, and although he hadn't talked about him much, luckily he sent one of his posts to me a few months back. He was all like, nah, I definitely didn't send that. I just thought it was really weird and left it at that, since he was adamant he hadn't heard of NF. So I go home and tell my brother about it. He also says, oh yeah, NF, that guy you always listen to. I've actually started listening to him recently. He is quite good. That would be fine, but my brother was the one who introduced me to NF. I remember clearly of that, because a couple of days after he told me to listen to him. I got in a car crash, and Let You Down was on repeat in my head for some reason. Anyway, I'm really weirded out from this. Any questions or suggestions or questions would be great. Thanks. I don't know. Are they trolling him? They might be trolling him. Or his friend is just, like, sick and tired of talking about singer. Seffi knows they always say hyper-realistic blood. Sonic's hyper-realistic bloodhouse.exe. Oh wait, how serious was the car crash? I'm thinking possible timeline jump. There we go, there's an interesting theory. The car crash was November 2018, and this incident was only recently, but to your question, me and my dad were fine. It should have been serious, but luckily wasn't. I remember my mom coming to see us at the scene, and people were trying to stop her because they thought we were dead, and told her there was a fatality, but there luckily wasn't. Car was completely wrecked, but only a few cuts and bruises. Well, there you go. They obviously, what happened there was they died in the car accident, but woke up in another world. Who is NF? Okay, that one's kind of corny. How about my roommate and I watched my dog glitch? Oh, because it's, I'm just using, like, the incognito Chrome window, and I usually use Firefox, which I'm using to view the chat. It's just, like, people telling stories of strange experiences that they've had that they think might be, related to parallel universes or glitches in reality. Isekai'd, yeah. I'd like to start by saying there's something weird about our house. Our matrix glitching has become a daily thing. The corny thing I don't really like about this stupid subreddit, which, I mean, it's named after it, but they always talk about, they always refer to it as, like, glitch in the matrix. I don't want Reddit on my browser history either, yeah. Well, it's just like it's so much more convenient. I mean, I know I could open multiple Firefoxes or whatever, but when I'm using split screen, I just kind of default to this setup. Oh, plus Firefox for whatever reason has trouble capturing in my OBS, so that's the main reason why I go with Chrome. Okay, daily thing, usually minor things that could be brushed off as coincidence, ghost, or just knowing each other so well. But there's been a few things that none of us, me, my boyfriend, and 2 roommates, can explain. This house situation sounds a little bit funny for current year standards. My dog DeVito is one of the chillest animals I've ever met. Is this a white girl? He's very calm. He doesn't ever just freak out unless he sees the mailman. That being said, a few months ago, my roommate and I are hanging out in her bedroom. We're both standing on opposite ends of her room, and DeVito is just sitting on the ground in between us. At some point, we both look at him at the same time, and you know in some glitchy video games, the characters may be walking around a foot about the ground? It was as if we all of a sudden saw DeVito had glitched off the ground into the air about 8 inches, and then he fell. We both saw him in the air, we both saw and heard him hit the ground, and we both heard him yelp. And then he went back to normal like nothing had happened. He wasn't spooked. He wasn't stressed. Wait. I really can't think of any other explanation. Is that a glitch though? They're saying like ghosts or whatever. So how maybe a poltergeist decided to lift the dog off the ground. White girls. Wait, let's see. I remember a Firefox Flash game where I was a kid, or when I was a kid, where one of the bosses was Hitler. Okay. I want to read retarded nonsense. Guess I have to go to Reddit. Me crying of neglect. Look, I didn't say that. You said it. All right, what do we have? What else? Man, I used to have so many interesting ones, and now it's hard to pinpoint. I guess I probably should have went through and like collected individual posts. How come it always includes, like a dog or an electronic device? These people watched the Animatrix one too many times. Alright, so this is my first time posting on this sub, so I'll get right down to the point. Due to the coronavirus outbreak, I've been spending a lot more time than usual on my phone and iPad in my home in the States. Sometimes it gets to the point where I'm up till past midnight using them, but this is not why I'm here, okay? So basically, I'm in my room past midnight. My entire family is asleep, and I decide that I should probably go to bed. My bedroom is small, so I actually have a shelf right above the top of the bed where you rest your head, so I usually put my phone... Okay, that was more weird wording, because, this is we are, not where you rest your head. So I usually put my phone on the shelf so I can hear any text message, notifications, etc. But this is where it gets weird. I put my phone on the shelf above my head and my iPad on my desk next to me. I'm lying in my bed in the darkness when I have this extreme desire to turn the lights back on. Not just a weird thought/idea that spiraled out of control like monsters or an intruder or something, but just this absolute urge that I must turn the lights back on. Succumbing to my anxiety, I flipped the lights back on and of course saw nothing. I was about to turn the lights off again when I saw it. I saw that my phone was on my desk and my iPad was on the shelf above me. Okay, so I guess the thing is, they somehow got switched around. I'm going to get right to the point where it's 7 paragraphs. Oh, my throat. It's been a while since I've done a heavy reading stream, so my throat is drying out here. Vanishing photo. These are kind of stories like this where they talk about... Well, I guess this one's not very long, but I've seen some before where it's they'll have a photo and they won't remember a person in it who's supposedly one of their friends, or someone will be missing from a photo that's supposed to be there. I have an eclectic collection of books on the paranormal. One was a sort of travel guide that listed haunted locations by state. It was the only book that had photo illustrations. I noticed in one photo a face appeared to be peeking out of a glass display case. It was part of a set of color photos that was on 2 pages. I set my homemade bookmark in the book and took it to show the photo to my friends. When I opened the book, not only did the photo of the display cabinet disappear, but so did the color that was in the other photos. Okay, that's completely boring. Okay, this one could be interesting. In December 2019, I died. Now everything feels like I'm living in a parallel universe. Okay. On Christmas Day, I remember feeling so full of peace, love, and acceptance of my life. Not in a religious way. I don't know what the difference would be, but I felt complete contentment. Late that night, I had a wonderful conversation with my boyfriend and lovingly put my 6-year-old to bed. To make a long story short, I laid my head down on his lap, only to leave my body and understand that I couldn't get back. Could go into detail about that experience, which spanned 3 minutes but felt like a lifetime. However, at the end, I agreed it was not my time and made arrangements for my new purpose. My death rewound itself, and I woke up in his lap. Okay, then. Now, every day I question if I'm alive or living in a parallel universe. Well, I mean, you'd be alive if you were in a parallel universe. Sweet Life of Dio Brando, what's up? Yeah, they actually called it Glitch in the Matrix. That's one of the things that I find, cringe about this subreddit. I was told that I needed to be an artist, and when I tried to keep my job, it felt like it was working against me. Every person at my company felt to be in on it as my success was declining and I was pushed out of my job. As I began doing art, it was flourishing. Another message I had was to guide my children. Suddenly, my children all started to connect with me differently. I left my job and started doing art full time. Strangers came out of nowhere to give me messages of support. Then suddenly, schools closed down. My art career went to a screeching halt. I'm forced to stay home, spend every day with all 5 children. Holy shit. Every day seems to get stranger and stranger. If I didn't have my experience of death, I could possibly grasp this pandemic thing being a natural occurrence. However, I find myself trembling in fear that I did die in the way I experienced. In that universe, my children and family are mourning the way I experienced it, and I'm living in an alternate universe where we have moved on together. It's devastating for me, and I can't wrap my head around all of this. Any insight would be appreciated greatly. Okay, wait. Let's see. Is there more? Oh, I guess they just kind of go into the experience. Holy shit. For those of you interested more in my death and what I experienced, I lay down on my boyfriend's lap that night and I felt the feeling, a buzzing throughout my body, and I could feel myself rising above it. I looked down and saw myself very clearly in his lap. He shook me. Baby, let's go to bed. I tried to respond, but I couldn't. The fear sank in and I could feel his fear. He frantically shook me. I tried to get back in, but I quickly understand that I was no longer alive. I ended up in a loop. Back in my body answering his question over and over again, I realized that I was in the loop, and this was limbo. I wasn't accepting my death, and I needed to let go. I could feel everyone's pain. I cried for my children's sadness. Then realized, all in the same moment, this was the way it needed to happen. I accepted my death, and instantly my life flashed before my eyes. The flash was moments from birth all the way to my death. However, as the moments flashed before me, I also had an all-knowingness of why everything happened, that everything was a lesson. In the end, I saw my last day playing out, and that the love I gave was how I said my goodbyes. It all happened perfectly and how it was meant to, and I understood that I passed all of my challenges. Oh, achievements unlocked. All achievements unlocked. I've had a very traumatic life, and this was wonderful for me to know. Instantly following that awareness, I realized everyone who dies experiences exactly the same thing as I did. An understanding of their life and how it all happens exactly how it is supposed to. Then I felt a surge of love for everyone, and understanding that love is what connects us all. Oh, this is some corny shit. I feel like Fed posting right now. Okay, where am I at? Okay. That the greatest purpose of life is to unveil the limitless love. As the lessons continued, it was a knowingness of time, space, and purpose of all that exists. Once those lessons ended, I shot through a white tunnel where I landed hovering as a ball of my true being. I could see the other beings hovering around and below me. I knew my true self, that I was always me. After being in that place for quite a long time, I had a wave of sadness knowing I needed to go back. I could feel my children, they needed me. I was shown, or taught, that I was to go back not to learn, but to be a guide for them and people around me. Examples of guides were given to me, even specific people I had met, who I later reached out to and confirmed all this was true and they had similar experiences. Okay, that's weird, I guess. I pleaded to remember them. I pleaded to remember them beauty of my experience. What? Like I said, everybody writes so fucking weird. And then when I came back, I could create my art as a window to give people hope. I was told that my paintings would connect people to this place. It was my new purpose. There is so much more, but after accepting this new role, it's as though the experience rewound itself. I went back into my body on the couch and lifted my head after he said, "Baby, wake up." I was bawling, screaming, and crying, and holding him. I could barely get the words out to what had happened. It took me days to get back to normal, to even accept that I was alive and not living a parallel life. So hopefully it's understandable that the sequence of events in our world coinciding with this experience has made this all very complicated for me. I want this to be spiritual, but I fear it could be medical. Oh, it would be terrifying to lose my mind and grip on reality and lose my children if it's medical, and beautiful if I've been given a glimpse of life after death and knowingness of life's purpose. A lot of you asked if I remember how I died. At the end of my life flashing, it flashed to the room I was in, laying my head down, and a flash of my brain and a jolt of energy in it. I didn't think much of this in my experience. When I accepted I was dead, I understood that I had brain damage and my life was over. Weird. I know a lot of life after death experiences come in hospitals or after an accident. Scary likeness for me is that this could very well have been a brain aneurysm that I lived through. Epilepsy runs heavily in my family. This could also explain the experience I'm having right now, some sort of brain damage or small seizures causing me to feel out of body. Interesting, I guess. Going to have to get an MRI or be tested for these things as soon as possible. Yeah, good luck with the whole virus situation, right? Wall of text, hatred is what connects us all. Smash her past the lady in that blue host ad. Are you serious? I think Ralph would like her. I didn't even see. Yeah, that definitely was not something I even noticed. Boy, that would kind of be shitty if it was just a brain aneurysm. Isn't it really hard to survive one of those? Like, aren't most of the time that happens, you're pretty much screwed? What is all this? Holy shit. Lots of walls of text now. Okay, wait. She added more. NDE experience. Well, NDE stands for near-death experience, so that's similar to me saying RPG game. Which, by the way, I never say. It just... You know how when you're talking shit and you just sound like a fool? That's me sometimes. Alright, well, I guess that's enough of that. Hold on, let's try to find something else. How about, I think I'm supposed to be dead. Some end up like potatoes, but others end up alright. Aneurysms are the favorite accident of Jay. Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, celebrated my birthday last September, thinking I wasn't going to get another one. I didn't know the date, the month. All I knew was it was coming. I had 6 months max. I forced myself to get out to enjoy life while I still had it. It was hard, painful even. You always enjoy something more when you know you're going to lose it. I had a scare at the end of November, but I was still here. January came and went, and apologies, I won't mention what happened, and somehow I'm still here. I found out on January 14th that I'm not going to die, at least not from that. Oh, a mystery. I spiraled, to say the least. I'd spent so long making sure everyone I knew loved them, everyone I knew, I loved them. There we go. I went out of my way to enjoy every last second of the beginning of the end, but then it wasn't. After a week, I had to rejoin the world. I would get better, physically at least. But I've noticed they don't care about the mental, or at least the hidden. You can't see the scars, but I can still feel them. Now he sounds like a poem. They make it hard to breathe sometimes. Every single day is another day I feel that I've stolen somehow. I'm struggling with a depressive episode. I feel guilty because I'm stealing days of life that aren't mine to take. I feel suicidal because the world isn't the way I remember it. I feel like I'm going crazy. Things feel flat. 2D. I'm well aware of the irony that I have been forced to continue on, but it is a hell instead of life. The colors aren't the same, the sounds aren't right, and the voices whisper to me in the dark. And when they weren't enough anymore, he came with his knife and his bloody hands that wrap around my neck and black sunken eyes that drip blood down his face. This took a dark turn. I don't want to go outside. I mean, I can't now anyway, so that's a plus. Because outside is his domain. Every time I look out a window, he stands there, knife in one hand, waving with the other. Is this like a devil thing? I want to die. All I want was to go back to before and make sure I did die this time. That feels like the only way I can right this universal wrong. I feel like I'm not living in an alternate world, but with the clock rewound, messed up, allowed to continue on incorrectly. Grim with 2 ice creams and 3 lemons. Thank you very much. To be fair, I would like to know... Oh, no, don't say that. Like Hannah Hayes without the body count. OD'd on HRT. Look at that paragraph structure. Yeah, it's killing me. We also got Big Mac with 20 lemons. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry for the ring. Wait, is this it? No, I didn't get there. It's like I'm standing in the middle of a crowded room screaming, crying, but no one turns around. They're living in a happy world where they don't feel hunted, don't feel like they're never alone. I'm sorry for the rant, but I just really had to get this off my chest. Is this a thing? Has anyone ever felt the clock feeling? Is it normal after trauma? Isn't that like somebody posted the National Suicide Hotline. I like how it got downvoted. That's that kicks ass. Lemon Raid, hell yeah, I'm okay with that. Paradise 8, thank you for the follow. Okay, I'm going to strangle a duck. I'm surprised you're not used to that by now, but you're lucky you weren't here when I had to listen to like 250 of them. But yeah, it's funny to me that got downloaded. It's a bot though, so I mean whatever. But I was saying, isn't that kind of a thing though, where the doctor or something says, oh, you have 6 months to live, and then you go through that 6 months, every day thinking, oh, I'm not going to make it much longer than that. And you go and you prepare everything, and you tell people how you feel about them, and you set all your ducks in a row, just to make a joke about the sound effect there. And then it comes to past that you survive, you get better, you recover, and you have to go on living because it turns out you're not going to die. Isn't there something like almost a survivor's guilt sort of thing for that? I feel like I've seen or heard that somewhere before. I could be wrong, but it sounds like a plausible thing. Bot gives no fucks. Have you ever seen the video of the guy who farms Pokemon shinies? No. I have not. Was he supposed to be dead? What the hell's a hair glitch? Objects appearing in my apartment. A bottle cap glitch. Random ad. Hold on, let's see. We got to find something else interesting here. Rule 34 image winked at me twice. No way. Come on. This is great. I was scrolling through Reddit for a while, looking at some Rule 34 posts, and I was looking for a certain image, so I was scrolling fast. I passed an image, and I swear, it winked at me. I scrolled back up and saw it wink again. It was so weird. It was weird, so I kept watching to see if it was a GIF file. About 30 seconds in, it didn't wink again. I even went as far as downloading the file. It was a JPEG. Probably not a glitch, but still freaked the shit out of me. You know what it was? It was your conscience, you degenerate. Okay. The only comment says, that's just your waifu trying to break into the real world to be with you. This happens to me every damn day. We making fun of schizos. Hallucination post. Well, whatever you want to take it as, it's open to interpretation, I suppose. Let's see. How about this? I just want my old life back. Are they really crazy, though? Or is the world crazy? We may never know. The first red flag I should have paid attention to was the scar on my lower back from when I was 11. There was an incident when a resident doctor slipped during a dye injection for a spinal MRI and cut a straight line. The MRI ended up not being available because it was rocking during the test. Oh, because, when you, move around a lot during the test, it fucks up the imaging. It was a huge deal because I was a sickly kid and my dad was so angry he was nearly strangling the doctor who messed up. Definitely not something you forget. Fast forward 15 years. I'm visiting my parents, graduated college, and we were playing some trivia game. The answer was emergency tracheotomy. I voiced it and they turned to me asking how I knew it. I explained that spending all the time in the hospital lets you pick up a few things, and they looked at me like I was crazy, as if to say that the entire experience and ordeal we went through never happened. So trying to prove it with the scar, I raised my shirt and told them, look, nothing. Clean. Just skin. I brushed that off thinking they're just being weird and the scar likely healed. But it helped me put 2 and 2 together, which apparently he got 5 instead of 4. Now my background is in human psychology, a dropout of engineering. Signs of mental health deterioration are clearly things you'd learn about. So at that point forward, my sanity has still pretty much gone unchecked. That evening, to get away from the frustration, I started tinkering with my dad's old speakers. Those huge wood box ones that no resident really should have unless you plan to blare music and get noise complaints. I knew how to make it work again. I knew how to set it up. After all, being a dropout doesn't mean you didn't learn anything, right? Apparently not. The speakers mounted to brackets had a grounded short, giving one hell of an annoying feedback noise. It was so bad that I had to pull the plug from its socket, and even then, the noise persisted. I came out of the room to apologize, but no one seemed to hear it. This was the flag I paid attention to. All right, let me just get a sip of water here. After my visit, on my return trip home, 4 cities away, my girlfriend at the time suggested that she come pick me up halfway at the mall, and she'll drop me off instead. The plan was we'd hang out, watch a movie, grab a drink, and bring me home since it was on the way from her office. We are creatures of habit and routine. This was our usual course. So much so that we had a regular barista at Starbucks. The drinking place, not club. Oh, the bar knew our names and regular orders. We'd be happy doing the same thing year in and out without a hitch. The mall security would say hello to us even. We were familiar. Forgive, but this is the detail that I need to point out that shattered my world. Absolutely shattered. Still no Morgan girlfriend where I live. Good question. I got to the mall 3 hours early. No problem. Oh, these damn headphones are driving me nuts, and I realize I don't really need them. Not a big deal. I had a small travel bag anyway and didn't mind waiting while having a cigarette and coffee. Yes, it was still openly permitted in the malls. I sat down with my coffee, regular order as usual seat outside too. I'd occasionally chat up the baristas when they'd step out and clean up after some customers even. On my 3rd refill, the barista asked me if I was waiting for my girlfriend. Odd, but I explained the general gist. We were friendly with them. Then she gave this look. Did it make me uncomfortable? Definitely. I call my girlfriend and she says she'll be about 40 minutes late and asked if I could pick up some office supplies while waiting. I talk to the counter girl and leave my travel bag with them. Hop to the office shop a few stores down in the mall and make my way back, coffee in hand. Yes, I wanted to get my cheap refills, damn it. I get my bag, and as I'm walking back, I see the barista talking to a female customer. I sit down to my regular chair, and the girl gets up and starts walking to me. What had me shook is she said 3 things to me. First, oh, hey, Crossroads Decision. I guess that's the username. Now I have a unique name. My parents were weirdos and decided to name me after some fictional character in a book. I checked, and till this day, I'm the only one with that legal name. No one calls me by that name. Most people spend their entire lives thinking that my nickname is my real name. I never give it out unless I absolutely have to. But she used my real fucking name. I'm shocked, to say the least. She continues. Do you remember yet the group about us? What the fuck? Remember what? Us? No, lady, I'm not single. I'm waiting for my girlfriend as we speak. I respond, I'm sorry? Think you have me confused with someone else. Stupid answer, she used my name. I'm so sorry. Forget I said anything. While stumbling back and rushing back to her seat. This is like a anime scene right here. Wait, what's up? Has anyone ever managed to successfully summon a succubus? No idea. Have. Thank you for the 7 lemons. I have some flam lemons. Wonderful. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I guess I do need the headphones for a reason, huh? Alright. Now at this point, I was stuck thinking 2 things. Who gave you my real name, which only a handful of people know, and what the hell do you mean remember yet? I get up to try and ask her what she means, and she's hurrying away. She grabbed her things and started walking out the other exit. I try to follow her, and people are looking as if I did something wrong. Well, you know, you upset a lady. His name's Squall Leonard. Flamona. Drumboy, thank you for the ice cream. Alternate universe from a J-pop. Oh, no. Flemons. Oh, Flamona, Flemons, you know. It all works. Redistributing the flam wealth. Okay, there we go. Losing my place. I unfortunately lost her in the crowds in the mall. Went back and asked about it. Apparently the barista was giving me the stink eye because she thought I was two-timing the girl I was currently seeing. This was the red flag that started me looking. This point I tend to consider the sanity question. My relationship with that girlfriend at the time ended on unrelated terms, so fast forward a few more years. I decided to pursue a private consultation in research. I'm starting to read like they write. My old professor asked me to meet before forwarding me a referral. He was consulting at a mental ward and asked me to join during the consult. His advice to me when we met was that I should consider that I'm misremembering things. That's one path, but a validation towards said memory will help prove inconsistencies. List events that you're certain of and stamp it with a date. No point in faking it if you're lying to yourself or legitimately crazy, right? He joked. Now, I don't consider this a glitch, but more on the strange side. Walking through the common space for recreational activities at the center, I sat down and the patient, my professor was oddly quiet. What? See what I mean? He left out a word. She kept muttering something about frequency and vibrations, how they were all wrong, over and over and over again. My former professor found that the visit was strange, since the patient is normally incoherent on his past visits, and jokingly suggested maybe I was crazy. Note to consider, to clarify and for brevity, the mental ward isn't a mental asylum per se. It's more of a psych ward for people who broke being part of a society. We live in a society, right? A few trauma patients and war veterans, but their general occupancy consists of professors that had mental breakdowns or intelligent people who sort of can't fit into living a regular life in normal society. Just wanted to clarify that it wasn't like Arkham Asylum or anything for the criminally insane. Okay, well, I don't know if anybody was picturing Arkham Asylum, but you know. At this point in time, it's 2015. I took the position in my private research I was referred. It gets me access to equipment I normally wouldn't in exchange for my contributions. I get freedom for personal research. I've made a list. Slightly sizable. Inconsistencies that I remember but aren't, which led me to somewhat to the glitch in the Matrix and Mandela effects. Misremembering a few deaths of certain people. Where's Wally and Waldo wasn't a glitch apparently, just different publication choices. Okay, but a few things that I recall don't add up. 8 continents, not 7. Where'd the 8th continent go? Related to that. Current world population was 11 billion, not nearing 8. Where did the 3.5 billion go? Oh, this is a small side tangent, but I saw some post on Twitter, maybe like a week ago or so, and it was basically saying that there aren't actually 7 billion people in the world, and that, China has inflated their numbers to, like, an insane degree. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but interesting at the same time. Basically, they were misreporting on how many people they had in their country, and it's actually far less. I think they were saying the post was estimating that in reality the world population is closer to 1 billion rather than actually being anywhere near 7. Again, you know, not saying it's true or anything. I just thought it was an interesting post. They did have some, fancy graphs and whatnot to make their point look like it was more valid. You know how that goes. Small memories here and there. What gets me are recent historical facts in the past century. I'll spare you the personal ones, save for one. Okay. Tesla had a partner. Yes, he still worked for Edison, but he was working with another man who pursued the works past high-speed pressure rotation. The Berlin Wall was demolished after a bomb raid. Cuba repaired their relationship with the U.S. Brazil had a huge earthquake revealing large deposits of uranium, making them progress as a proponent for nuclear energy. Okay, so radioactive Brazil. Maurice Ward passed on his recipe for Starlight in 96. It was my freaking science fair project. I had a memory of attending a conference in 04 of the applications of heat reflection and the dangers of assuming heat negation. I'm guessing that was his personal one. The equation for diamagnetic power generation was revised because the equation was an approximation which then explained the back EMF faults in the machines. Okay. China opened their borders much later. In 1997, the Spice Girls even had a concert there. Odd memory. Very. Wait. I have a graph. I have a graph with colored bars that makes my point good. That's right. That's how that works. This is about... Okay, so overall the stream is just like... We're looking at articles and posts where it has like accounts of people who, either have had encounters with or claim to be from alternate realities. This one specifically is a guy who, I guess he had a very distinct memory of like being hospitalized a lot as a kid, and the doctor gave him a scar on his back during a procedure, an accident during a procedure, and now he doesn't have the scar, and now he's listing all of his inconsistencies with his memories of history and whatnot as well. Yeah, basically. Let's see. Taiwan was recognized by the UN as its own sovereign nation. Graphene was not the solution to solid-state batteries. It was the framework. Magnesium and phosphorus alloys were the replacement to the liquid oxidizers in batteries, with a bit of chlorine in the structure I never bothered looking into. My face was so confused during the whole Samsung battery explosions. Okay. Huge number of technologies existed but suddenly disappeared. Electromagnetic locking for prosthetic joints and military assist drones. Synthetic bone for cybernetics. Inertial dampeners for aerospace travel. Non-chemical oil spill recovery systems. Plant-based vaccine production. There you go, vegans. How do you like that? Tell us your own personal paranormal experiences. I only have... Jeez. Off the top of my head, like 2. They're not very interesting. So they're LARPing as isekai protagonists. Yeah, it seems that way. Others just made me sad. One of the kids I grew up with just outright disappeared. London got attacked and shut its borders. Earthquakes that were harmless or prepared for were suddenly violent and harmful. This is really detailed, though, for somebody who's just, fucking around. Those were a few examples, so fast forward to today. I've come to learn more about my particular situation, which may not exactly apply to other glitches. There's a frequency of vibration that interferes with my particular case. Vibrating magnetic fields tends to do that. I've tried this once more, and I now have a theory. Either A, I've gone completely mad and my memories are some form of cancer or cyst giving me false knowledge or approximate knowledge, or B, the glitches are an aftershock of an event that occurred, under the assumption that my memories of certain technologies hold true, e.g. recreating Starlight. The version I remember was different, but so far withstands acetylene torches for an hour. Electromagnetic locking for prosthetic works. Okay. Inertial dampeners. Yeah, we went through that. Deceleration by 60% for aerospace applications. Today is the 2nd of April. It's been a week when I tried to recreate that high-frequency noise generated nearly 2 decades ago. I blew out the older speakers and there's... Oh, okay, so this goes back to what he was saying about the speakers at his dad's house that apparently nobody heard the sound of but him. I blew out the older speakers in their sockets, but it worked. But now I have memories like a dream. One overlaps the other. Like when you try to recall the details of an intense dream. You'd think, given that proof of your sanity was available in showing that things you remember really happened can give you peace of mind, you would believe that. Why do I have memories of a different life, with someone vaguely familiar, but not? It almost feels like someone important to me died and I'm grieving, but not. Why do I remember happiness and sadness that don't have shape or form? If knowing both memories make you sad, is it better to just not know? What if glitches are the result of a change in frequency of time? Boy, this is... Just make a movie. What if this time instance shows the equations are still incomplete? Diamagnetic equations are still approximations. I can't explain it, it just looks wrong. What if glitches are the result in moving frequencies backwards in time since the movement of time is consistent? What if the movement of consciousness can be moved using time as a reference point and everything else aligns towards it? It's frustrating to not know all the details. Using the function of 2r loses its value if electricity is circular and not a helical screw. I fucking need to remember, but I can't. The harder I do, the more it slips away as if I'm erasing my memories. We're almost through. I did manage to scrape up a plan. I know I'm not the only one. There were more of us, more researchers, more volunteers, more of those considered collateral damage. Did we fail? No. Did we try to make things change, but things got canceled out? Were there consequences? There's always consequences. Write down dates for 2020. I know you'll find this. No others will resonate to it. These aren't predictions. These were dates that had importance to the world from what I remember. If you do when you do, that means the channels for us are getting in touch. We'll be able to open the... What is he doing? Like, trying to, try to open some sort of portal or something? Schizos can write entire blog posts about their insanity. This is like, holy shit, downvote this one. I remember by writing on the back of a Polaroid. There you go. Okay, wait, so we got dates. April 7th, May 9th, June 12th, July 17th with a question mark, August 4th, September 24th, and November 11th. Help me figure out what 313 means. I'll see you again next year. So you guys are talking about this, you make the schizo jokes. I'm not trying to be mean in any way, but the first comment with this question, the follow-up, but are you a male in your early to mid-20s? I ask because that's the age range where schizophrenia most often shows itself in men, and your thought patterns and behaviors remind me of a schizophrenic friend's thought patterns and behavior. Oh, no. Oh. There goes that story. Out the window. Okay, well, that was kind of interesting, but holy shit, that got complex. How about we go with wait, yeah, this one's not... I think I did this one... So when I did one of these streams on Stream Me, I'm pretty sure I went through this story, but I don't even know how many people remember that stream, and it was a while ago now, so I don't mind rereading this one. I think this is like one of the first stories that I ever encountered, regarding like coming from a different world or a different universe or different dimension. The Man from Torrid. One hot July day in Haneda Airport, Tokyo, likely began as just another excessively warm day for the staff at customs. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people trotted through the airport without a second glance. That was with the exception of a solitary bearded man. I hate the photo you used because he's not bearded. Come on, you couldn't even get a bearded stock photo? Literally never been to Stream Me. Oh, well then you missed it. Because I don't know, I thought I downloaded it, but I guess I didn't make an archive, so... For reasons that aren't apparently clear, he became the focus of attention for at least one customs official. Perhaps it was the climate or simple nerves. By all appearances, this man was just another passenger. A smartly dressed businessman is surely just another body to deal with in a busy environment like an airport. In the less security-conscious days of 1954, he must have done or said something that garnered extra attention. When pressed, he stated that this was just another business trip for him, one of several that he had made during the course of the year. His native tongue was French, but Japanese was just one of numerous languages that he was fluent with. Concerned about the possibility of facing a trafficker and/or smuggler, officials began to question the man. When asked where he was from, he casually informed officials that he was from Torrid. Not familiar with such a place, they pressed for further details. The passenger seemed only too happy to furnish additional data. It's a weird way to just say, okay, he elaborated. Torrid was a nation situated between France and Spain, which had been in existence for millennia. The simple occurrence of a customs check quickly descended into something resembling a farce, as neither side was willing to accept that the other was being anything other than honest. Just as the customs officials were adamant that no such place existed, the increasingly irate passenger insisted that he was correct. He even produced his passport issued in Torrid, as proof. His previous trips to Japan and elsewhere did appear in his passport, as he had claimed. The contents of his wallet had currency from several European nations. In an effort to remove all confusion and expedite matters for them, customs offered their bizarre passenger the chance to indicate where he was from. He pointed to the country we know as Andorra on a map. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting... So it was an interdimensional weave. Yeah. Japan exists in all timelines and parallel worlds, and they're all degenerate. Oh, boy. Okay. Faced with the choice of what to do next, Customs was at a loss. Nothing like this had happened before, at least not to them. The only real course of action was to investigate the matter further. To do so, they invited the man to spend the night at a local hotel while their inquiries took place. He agreed. As a precaution, a pair of armed guards were stationed outside his hotel room. Japanese customs still had no idea if this man was who he claimed to be. The hotel he originally booked a room at had no knowledge of a booking in his name. The company he was due to meet with had no idea who the man was, or even the company he said it represented. The bank that issued his checkbook couldn't be found anywhere either. Convinced that they had caught a criminal in an act that he was yet to perpetrate, Customs ordered the passenger's return for further questioning. However, when his hotel room was opened, no trace of the man could be found. Of the 2 days out of his room, the lack of a balcony and a recognized escape attempt ruled out the window. Neither guard noticed movement within the room either, and the door was certainly not opened all night long. Stranger still, all the man's personal documents, such as his checkbook, passport, and driver's license, had also disappeared from within the airport security room. From that day to this, the man from Torrid was never heard from again. Dum dum dum. He probably has a katana. Japanese for Japanese sword. Wonderful. On his suitcase. I went to an alternate universe where I understood everything and it was all somewhat familiar. Was it all my imagination? Answer, yes. There's another story similar to this that wait, what in the world is this? Apparently they're saying it's a bogus story. I mean, look, it could be. But it's fun. It's fun to think about nonetheless. There's a similar one of these though where it's like I think it takes place in like the 1890s or something like that. I don't know, it might be in one of the other articles that I have. Like these collect a bunch of stories like that. Hopefully there's no weird ads on these pages because I got everything up on the screen, but you know. I guess that would be my fault for not doing the ad blocker. Let me see if I can find that one. Well, I mean, I guess I might as well just go through them, right? Okay, so this one is from 1988. A man known only as LC was with an associate in the town of, is that Abbeville or Abbeville, Louisiana? And the two purportedly began to take a drive along Highway 167 towards Lafayette on October 20th, 1969. For most of the drive, they passed no other cars, with the road remaining incredibly empty and calm, and then ahead of them, they suddenly spied a rather old-fashioned-looking car chugging along. As they drew closer, they realized that it was a vintage turtleback vehicle that seemed to be in pristine condition. And as they went to pass it, they noticed that the car's license plate clearly had 1940 printed upon it. Care to explain? No, I don't. I don't think I do. This was strange to be sure, but things would only get weirder. As they passed the vehicle, they noticed the driver was a young woman wearing what appeared to be rather old-fashioned clothes, in just as old a style, only just as new-looking as the car she was driving. Oh, that's a really weird fucking way to just be like, they were old-fashioned but look brand new. Along with the young child in the passenger seat, although the day was rather warm, both were dressed for cold weather, which struck Elsie and his companion as a bit odd. As they looked on, they could see that the woman seemed to be in a state of distress, looking back and forth as if something urgent was going on or in some sort of panic. Well, yeah, she just time traveled. I mean, come on, she's freaked the fuck out. This apparent frantic desperation was so intense that Elsie apparently actually called out to the woman to ask if she needed any help, to which she responded with a nod. He gestured for her to pull over, which she did. And Elsie's car came to a stop in front of her, but when they looked back, the vehicle that had just been there was gone, as if it had never been there at all. To make it all even weirder, another car that had been on the road also pulled over, and the driver expressed surprise that the old car that had been in front of him the whole time was no longer there. According to this driver, he had seen the whole thing and watched as the old vintage car had just seemingly dematerialized into thin air. Now knowing that it was not all in their heads, Elsie, his companion, and the other driver took a look around for the other vehicle, but there was no sign of where it could have possibly gone, no tire tracks moving away, nothing. The trio considered calling the police, but possibly rightly assumed that no one would ever believe them, and they ultimately kept it to themselves. Well, apparently, not forever. The three would apparently keep in touch with each other for several years, but were never able to figure out what they had seen. Did these men get a glimpse of some other alternate dimension in the form of the past? Indeed. Was the woman in such distress because she had found herself in some strange place she did not recognize? We may never know. I like this artwork here. It's just like a crazy big bat. Let's see. Same thing appears to happen the other way around, with glimpses into some future dimension. One such rather well-known case concerns a British air marshal named Sir Victor Goddard, who in 1935 found himself aboard a biplane going to inspect a dilapidated old airfield near Edinburgh, Scotland, in a location known as Drem. Goddard encountered severe weather on his way to the airfield, fighting his way through lashing rain, but upon approach suddenly exited into calm, clear skies. Looking down at the airfield, rather than the litter-strewn, weed-choked mess he expected to see, he allegedly saw a completely new and renovated airstrip that seemed to be in use. This was all very odd indeed, yet Goddard noticed that there were even mechanics and other personnel busily running about as if the airfield had never closed at all. Upon the new airstrip were 4 yellow planes of a model which Goddard failed to recognize. The unknown make of the planes, as well as their abnormal coloration and the personnel's strangely designed uniforms of blue, when it was customary to wear khaki, struck the astonished airmen as all very odd indeed. Goddard would many years later revisit the airbase and find that it had blue coveralled workers in those same yellow planes. Did he somehow manage to travel to another future version of our world and see what was to come? Some sort of parallel alternate universe? Who knows? Yeah, I've read this one in a few places, and it also... Oh boy, what is that? It reminds me of a Twilight Zone episode. Let me see. Let me see if we can find which one. I think it was the first season of the original series. Let's see. Oh, geez. Come on. Here we go. It is... Is this the one? It might not be the first. Okay, it was this one. It's called The Last Flight. Right? This has got to be it. I think. Yeah, except this one is This is a pilot from 1917, and he shows up in 1959. This is pretty interesting. Good episode if you want to watch something about like time travel and the parallel universe stuff. Oh yeah, another really good Twilight Zone episode for that is just it's in season 4 and it's just called The Parallel, I think. Probably one of my favorite TV show episodes ever. Anyway, back to the real stuff. What do we got here? Oh, this is the one. It actually might be maybe that episode is based off of that story or something because it seems very similar. Episode I remember the most is the devil giving the crook everything he wants. Oh yeah, because it's like they make it seem like he went to heaven, but it's actually hell or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but I like that one too. Actually, there's a lot of really good episodes in that whole entire series. Okay, this was the one I was talking about before that's similar to like the Man of Torrid or whatever, or Man from Torrid. German village of Frankfurt an der Oder in the district of Lebes in 1851. Stranger claimed that his name was Jofar Vorin and that he had come from a country called Lexaria, which many of you may realize is a country that does not exist. This country was claimed to lie far away over the sea in a region he called Sakria, and that his people were Christian and had considerable geographical knowledge. Authorities who questioned him found that he spoke imperfect broken German, but he could not understand any other European languages at all. Instead, he could speak and write Lexarian and another language he called Abramanian. That's kind of really interesting. Like I mean, I know that was a long time ago, 1851, but it'd be interesting if they could, if this story's even real, if there was records of this writing somewhere. I mean, obviously that would be proof, Heard the new Twilight. Yeah, the new Twilight Zone. Like I've seen a couple of scenes from it. I couldn't watch it, but it seems like an abomination. The woke Twilight Zone. Well, I mean, I have to choose you three because you're all the ones that are mostly active right now in the chat. So however that turns out. They're interesting names, which he claimed was the written clerical language his people used. When asked why he had made the journey to Germany, he claimed that he'd been looking for his long-lost brother, but that he had unfortunately found himself shipwrecked during his voyage. He obviously sailed through the Bermuda Triangle and got teleported. When asked where he had been shipwrecked, and he said that he did not know, and modern maps seemed to baffle and confuse him, leaving him unable to point out where he had arrived. Apparently, Jofar lived out the rest of his life in Berlin, and news articles of the day claimed that he was scientifically studied, but it is unclear what was discovered from any of this. That's strange. Maybe we can search this name and see what comes up. Obscurbin Legends. Okay, Heat Blaze is still here. How's the box doing? Okay, so the box is at 103. So that's a pretty good that's a pretty good amount. Being sent back to the past and being stuck there. Yeah, that would kind of be shit. I mean, I guess it depends what era you end up in and what area of the world. Might not actually be so bad, but let's see. I just want to kind of see if there's any theories, interdimensional being or hoax. Yeah, those would be the possible, explanations. Jeez, don't get too in depth here or anything. Is there any information about this? We need more I mean, I guess it would be difficult to find, you know, more in-depth information about something that happened in like an obscure event that happened in 1851. That's not like a big historical event. So I get that, but you would think something like that would be just a little bit more. Let's see. Here's a Reddit version of it. Great. Do we know where it actually originated from, though? The Yearbook of Facts in Science and Art, 1852. Huh. Found the book online here if anyone wants to check it out. The story is on page 192, 183. Oh. Wow, this is weird. Kind of interesting. As long as I have my Game Boy with a few games and electricity, all is fine. I think you would need, like, rechargeable batteries that, I don't know, you could charge through other methods. Do you know the missions in Metal Gear Solid 2 where you go to alternate universes to find pictures of the giant soldier? When people open their mouths, I can see part of a skeleton peeking out and it spooks me. No one you know and completely alone. Everyone in the present thinks you went missing. Everyone in the past thinks you're crazy. Culture shock, scary shit. Yeah, okay. Those are all very good points. I guess we have to go all the way to page 192 or something, though, right? It's weird how there's no way to skip there. All right, here we go. I don't see it. Talking about zoology. Did I read this wrong? Oh, no, wait, here we go. We find it attested in the Correspondence of Berlin that at the end of 1850 a stranger was picked up in a small village of the district of Lebes. Whether he had wandered, no one could tell whence. He spoke German imperfectly and had all the marks of Caucasian origin. On being questioned by the burgomaster of Frankfurt, the stranger said his name was Jofar Voren, that he came from a country called Lexaria, situated in the portion of the world called Sacria. He understands, it is affirmed, none of the European languages except, we must suppose, the broken German, but reads and writes what he calls the Lexarian and Abrahamian tongues. The latter he declares to be the written language of the clerical order in Lexaria, and the other the common language of his people. He says that his religion is Christian in form and doctrine, and that it is called Ispatian. Lexaria he represents to be many miles from Europe and separated by vast oceans from it. His purpose in coming to Europe, he alleges, was to seek a long-lost brother, but he suffered shipwreck on the voyage where, and he does not know, nor can he trace his route on shore, on any map or globe. He claims for his unknown race a considerable share of geographical knowledge. The 5 great compartments of the earth he calls Sacria, what is that? Aflar, Aslar, Oslar, and Uplar. Interesting name. Sounds like an RPG. The Solar Boy exists. Oh, yeah, there you go. My point was the very goodest, though. Eat it, you jerks. Oh, the skeletons. Unless I missed a different comment. Let's see. Sages of Frankfurt on the Oder after much examination of the tale and its bearer believed it. However, Jofar Voren was dispatched to Berlin and there became the subject of much scientific and curious gossip in the Prussian capital. It's interesting to see, it's interesting to see this written in such an old book and just like the way that they wrote it up. Yeah. Sakri would be the desert continent. Very old shitpost. Maybe it's Antarctica, It's the parallel universe, Antarctica. Let's see. Is there any more good information in here? No. Wait, another one is the Lorena Garcia Gordon story. What is this? If it's the story I'm thinking of, then that might be an interesting one. I'm going to look up the name. Oh, I think I do know this one. This one's pretty interesting too. Just sometimes it's hard to find like a complete English account of it because I think it's from Spain, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and we kind of, I'm glad people are enjoying it, and we kind of accidentally just went down other paths, so I like that, because I did have some more things planned, but this is good. Let's see, how would you react if you awoke one morning in a different universe? The peculiar tale of Lorena Garcia surfaced many years ago in the comments section of a Spanish website called Tendencias 21. It was there where she claimed with some reservations that she had somehow jumped into another universe. A universe similar but not quite to her own. Sounds strange? It is. It's also impossible to verify, but that's never stopped me before. Okay. Lorena Garcia posted her comment on July 16th, 2008 in response to an article about the possibility of multiple universes. She said she was 41 years old. Oh, wow, she'd be 53 now. And had experienced something so bizarre, so inexplicable, that she worried others would think she was suffering from a psychotic break. And yet her story was so compelling, it became something of an urban legend. Her claim was this. She had gone to sleep one night and woke up the next day to find that the world around her had changed in the strangest and subtlest ways. The first change was a very simple one. The sheets on her bed were different. This confused her, of course, but she didn't give it much thought, not in the beginning. It was another change when she arrived at work later that day that caused her to truly question her reality. Everything was different. Oh, did I? That was completely by accident. Like, only thing I can pronounce usually is English words and most Japanese words. But I'm glad. Alright, the following quotes came from roughly translated version. So I guess there are archives of the original. Actually, let me post that in chat if you want to see that. That's the original post, but of course, it's in Spanish. That's not a problem for some of you. Let's see. When I got to my office, it was not my office. Oh, maybe I shouldn't start there? Okay, well, anyway. I'll read it anyway, just in case it doesn't come up later in the story. When I got to my office, it was not my office. It had names on the door, and mine was not. I thought I had the wrong floor, but no, it was mine. I got off at the wireless area of my office, and I looked, still working here, but it was still another department, reporting to a director I didn't know. Okay, Garcia told them she was sick and headed out, determined to understand why this was happening. She did what anyone would likely do in her situation. She visited a doctor and later a psychiatrist. They did tests, but found nothing. She was clean, apparently, and everything was fine. The psychiatrist suggested that perhaps she was suffering from stress and had hallucinated those inconsistencies. But no, she thought, the changes were too bizarre, too real. It was the world. The world was the problem, and it was only getting worse. While the small things like her ID and her house and even yesterday's top news headlines were the same, other personal details were not. For example, she remembered her sister having had surgery on her arm, but the rest of her family, including her sister, remembered no such thing. Most shocking of all to Garcia was that she found herself still with her ex-boyfriend, who she remembered leaving many months before. Her new boyfriend was gone altogether. Okay, this is pretty fucked up. Because, like, everybody in the whole entire world would just think you're a nutcase. I went to an alternate universe where I didn't have a very stable genius president with the bigliest hands. It was scary. I hope you got back. I left and started a relationship with a guy in my neighborhood. I know it perfectly. I've been with him 4 months and know his name, address, where he works, where he studied. Well, that guy does not exist now. It seems that he existed before my jump, but not now. No trace. She even went as far as to hire a detective, but he turned up nothing. Her new boyfriend never existed, not in this universe, and her ex, well, it was as if nothing had happened. Lorena Garcia ended her post with a simple plea for help. Had anyone else experienced anything similar? She wondered. She said it was as though she had simply dreamed the previous 5 months, with the proviso that everyone remembers me at that time, and I've done things I'm not aware of having done. She searched the internet for similar stories and noticed other important events from the missing months that she didn't remember, but mostly, she wrote, the rest of the world seems to be the same. Okay. Not sure whatever happened to her. Perhaps she got on with her life. Perhaps dimension hopping is just something you have to get used to. Yeah, I don't know about that. What the fuck? Oh, I'm getting confused by, thrown off course by weird ads, but it's something for sleep disorders, I guess. I don't know. It's fiction. We made this one up. This one was created by a team of writers. Cucked by the Stargate. Damn, not again. Over the past year or so, many people have shared their experiences with changed memories in my post about the Berenstain Bears problem and later the Mandela effect. Those are pretty interesting. The Bears one is so weird, though. I actually have one of my books from childhood, and it's actually right on the shelf above me, because when this whole thing came out, I was like, wait a minute, I remember having books from these authors, and it's one about, like, it's not even from the Bears series. It's like oh, what the hell? Whoops, dropped my headphones right off my fucking head. Because I was looking up to try to grab the book. I think it's still up here. Okay, so yeah, it was, it's called After the Dinosaurs. And it's just like it just covers early prehistoric creatures, which I've always been interested in since I was a kid. So, I used to love all these books like this. Actually has really cool illustrations in it, but it's spelled Berenstain. It has the A. So, in my universe, I come from the Berenstain universe, I guess. Unless, of course, the book changed itself when we jumped, I'm just going to go ahead and unplug these damn headphones, since they're just doing nothing but causing trouble. Alright, there we go. I think this is retarded, but it's better than Langrisser. Tough crowd. Rude. Langrisser was fun. Yeah, I was in, like, post-game depression after finishing Langrisser. That was such a good streaming game. Come on. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Okay, wait. Do we want to go through this? How long is it? Alright, not that long. We'll check this one out. A couple months ago, someone left an innocuous comment on my post, 4 weird clues that parallel universes exist. The comment was this: you need to look up the Berenstain Bears problem. My response at first was probably what yours is now. The what? But after a quick Google search, I realized that this person was talking about the Berenstain Bears. Now, if you don't know about the Berenstain Bears, they were a series of children's books and eventually a cartoon created by Stan and Jan Berenstain. They focused on a family of bears and did the usual educational children's book / TV series thing. Simple enough. I remember them vaguely. I believe I owned a book or two when I was a kid. It's been a while. You know what always bothered me about that book series? Not the spelling. It was the it was the fact that the bear children didn't have names, okay? They called each other brother bear and sister bear. And then it's like, if they had friends outside the household, what were they called? That used to piss me off as a kid. Give these people some names. Okay, I called them people, but they're bears. You get the point. That was my problem. Forget the dimension hopping. Just give the motherfucking bears some names. All right. Anyway, that's my childhood autism at work. So what's the problem? They're not the Berenstain Bears. They've never been the Berenstain Bears, despite the fact that many others remember them as the Berenstain Bears, and I myself still pronounce their name as the Berenstain Bears. If he writes this one more time, I'm going to kill myself. This is false. This is wrong. They are the Berenstain Bears. The bears with no names. Patriarchy Bear isn't much better, to be honest. Oh, come on. He's not even here to defend himself. You know, I haven't seen him in a couple of streams. Hopefully he's all right. It was such a strange feeling to find that out. To see Google correcting my spelling, to see the Wikipedia entry titled The Berenstain Bears, to see book covers that seemed at odds with the memories I had in my head. What was going on? The problem, as it were, became clearer when I found this post by someone named Reese, graduate student of physics, at a blog titled The Wood Between Worlds, an interesting place. Check it out. Maybe we'll have to do that. Reese's post is a trip down the rabbit hole for anyone like myself who remembers that cartoon family as the Berenstain Bears, not the Berenstain Bears, and with it comes a strange hypothesis. Did something in our universe change to make this happen? Somehow, at some time in the last 10 years or so, reality has been tampered with and history been retroactively changed. The bears were called the Berenstain, my mistake, when we were growing up, but now reality has been altered such that the name of the bears has been changed post hoc. Okay. Reese's proposal is essentially that somewhere along the way we shifted into an almost indistinguishable parallel universe, almost as there are minor differences, many we probably haven't realized yet. Okay, we have moved to the Stain hexadecton, while our counterparts moved to our hexadecton, Steen. They are standing around expressing their confusion about the Berenstain Bears and how they all remember Berenstain on the covers growing up. Of course they are. That's the biggest issue in all of our lives. Was there a book where Father Bear was racist against pandas or something? There was a, I don't know about, I mean, I don't remember how it was expressed in the story, but I definitely recall a book where it's like, there were pandas that moved in next door or something like that, and there was, animosity between the two. I blame the Large Hadron Collider. Oh, the CERN thing or whatever. Okay, in later post, Reese would tackle some of the flaws in the idea many people do remember as the Berenstain Bears, including members of the Berenstain family, of course, but perhaps these individuals are simply native to this Berenstain universe and notice no difference. Others, perhaps yourself included, don't remember one way or the other. Perhaps we all just read it and heard it incorrectly. Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember. I try to think about it, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. But the only references I have is this damn book in front of me, and it says it's got the A on it. So the only thing you can figure is either we were wrong, or everything in the new universe changes to compensate for that new information. So even if I had a book where it was spelled with an E, it would become an A, right? That's how that works. Hence the problem with proving, that without a doubt this is an actual thing. Okay, so they're talking about how maybe it's a time traveler made the connection between this curious problem and John. Is it Titor? It sounds funky to call it Titter, so I guess it's Titor. Um, yeah, there's nothing left to that one. The Vatican's time machine, huh? Of bears and time travel? What the fuck? Yeah, I think you were on Keenan. I think you were on my Stream Me parallel universe stream. Yeah, that was the guy who claimed to be the time traveler, and he posted on a forum and like made a bunch of predictions and showed a photo of the time machine thing that he was using or rebuilding or some shit like that. I don't know. He came back and needed parts from a specific old ass computer. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read the story of that, but those are the things that I remember. Seven? What? Okay, weird advertisement. I don't know what to say about that. The disappearing plane. Is this the one with let's see. The Time Viewer. The 2002 book, The Vatican's New Mystery, by Francois Brune, contains the peculiar testament of Father Pellegrino Maria Ernetti. Okay. According to Ernetti, long ago the Vatican commissioned the development of a strange machine, a large cabinet with a cathode ray tube, like a television set, and dozens of buttons, levers, and switches. Ernetti himself helped construct it, alongside scientists from around the world, including Enrico Fermi and, some say, Nikola Tesla. But this wasn't any old device. It was a time machine, but not in the traditional sense. Oh, I've heard this before. They call it a chronovisor, a type of time viewer. This machine would allow its users to view events throughout history, or even focus on specific people to watch them through time. You're not safe. Because the chronovisor can watch you. Okay, Ernetti claimed to himself used the chronovisor to observe the crucifixion of Christ. Jeez. There's no particular reason to believe any of these claims. As popular as they are with conspiracy theorists, it's even questionable how much power and control would be gained simply by viewing past events. It'd be fascinating, yes, but what would you do with that information? Oh, come on. There's plenty you could do. Okay, wait, I gotta go here. Gotta go back and see what chat's saying. Father Bear wears a spooky ghost costume and burns a bamboo cross on the panda neighbor's lawn. Oh, yeah. I was Ripstream Me. No mention of Corona. Oh, no, it's the... Oh, okay, you guys are... Alternate universe where people lay eggs and you have to fart on them to fertilize them. Update, sorry for writing that. Well, I guess we can forgive you since you apologized so quickly. Technically, you would only need one time traveler's convention. Doctor Who bullshit. I've never watched Doctor Who, so I don't know. I just checked my VHS copy of Berenstain Bears. Of course. I will bury you. Speaking of the Vatican, have you seen that weird structure on the Vatican? Shit looks demonic as fuck. Let me see. Go back in time to see what killed the dinosaurs. There you go. That's an interesting use of it, I think. Holy shit, this is weird. What is that supposed to be? Depicting the... Why does that... That doesn't look like Jesus. What the hell? Maybe I'm just like looking at it wrong, but it definitely... Oh, okay, I see. But there's... Is it just me, or is there a skull of a different creature coming out of the side of his head? That something about that doesn't look normal. Here, let me bring it up on the screen real quick. Yeah, this is absolutely disturbing. Looks pretty metal. I mean, like, no doubt it's kind of cool, but that's just not something that I would consider to be, you know, a religious figure in the name of good. It looks awful. It's like definitely the kind of thing you would want to stay away from. Looks like a final boss, yeah. It's crazy looking. I mean, look, it's really cool, but it just looks like it exudes evil, not good. It's like one of those crazy ass statues at the end of Final Fantasy VI. Highly recommend Arthur C. Clarke book The Light of Other Days. Great OmniViewer concept thought experiment. I'll have to check that out. Statue straight up an anime villain's unethical science lab. Yeah, it is. That's crazy. Yeah, it doesn't look very godly. Not at all. Oh, man, there was one more thing. Let me see if I can find it. Well, first of all, I'll check. I'll see if I can bring it up off screen. See if I can find the post. It was a thread by this guy on Twitter that does like weird topics. He does the Saturn time cube, and I think it was this one. All right, let me open it up over here. So it was, did the world end in 2012? Let me see if we can read the whole thread. Yeah, without having to log into something. All right. More like something you see in Doom. This is the Dark Souls of Catholicism. Intended to capture the anguish of 20th century mankind living under the threat of nuclear war. And I guess that makes sense. The skull thing is still weird. I don't really understand why there's a skull coming out of the side of his head. That sort of looks like it'd be, I don't know, either like an eagle or a saber-toothed tiger or something. I don't know. I can't even tell. So here we go. Conspiracy time, I guess. Okay. Did the world end in 2012? Wanted to talk about this subject for a while now. The other day, I had a random urge to look into it again and read some old stuff, just for fun. Ever since then, I've noticed other people talking about it again. But the strangest part is, I cannot find anything online about it anymore. Like I said, you can find people talking about it casually or joking about it, but I cannot find any of the in-depth material I had read before. This has actually been really frustrating for me because I have nothing to refresh my memory while writing this. I found a few things here and there that are helping me piece the puzzle together again, but I know there used to be so much more out there. I can't even remember the first time I've heard about this theory, but it's become somewhat of a meme. Did find a video of Max Laughlin, that child genius from YouTube, touched on this theory, but I don't think he's the first to talk about it. I think originally it was some girl. I don't know. So did the world actually end in 2012? Well, it was the year scientists at CERN finally found the Higgs boson. The particle Stephen Hawking predicted could destroy the universe, or in his own words, cause the universe to undergo a catastrophic vacuum decay. Well, what would happen if we destroyed the universe? How would we know? Or would we know, I guess? I think we'd know, but you never know, right? Maybe CERN accidentally created a black hole that sucked us in without us even noticing, and we've just been living in it. Some physicists actually believe this is possible. Are we living in a black hole? Some astrophysicists think our universe owes its origin to a monster black hole wherein we reside today. Very weird. There's the old cliche argument that nothing has felt right since 2012. I agree with this. Maybe it has something to do with growing up and getting older, but ever since then, it seems like the world descends more and more into chaos each day. Time even feels faster. You know what? I don't know if it started like right in 2012, but I definitely do have that feeling of time is a lot faster, and I mean, no doubt things are increasingly chaotic. Of course, that could just be the world, There's some sort of calamity happening almost daily. Mass shootings only stay in the headlines for like 12 hours now. Did we all die and go to hell? I don't really believe that, but some people do. Maybe we're in a similar situation to the characters in The Good Place. I've never seen that, but I guess it's like, I remember reading the synopsis and they're dead. I don't know, but not. Like I've said before, I think we live in a series of simulations. Perhaps the universe was destroyed by CERN, and I don't really get down with the whole simulation theory thing. I don't really like it that much. It's not one of the more interesting ones. I kind of prefer like the parallel universe stuff. Like if it's all just one big computer experiment, just fucking pull the plug already because it sucks. You know? but the parallel universe thing is more interesting where it's like, you know, every choice has a branching path, and somewhere where you made this choice, you know, in another world you made the opposite one, or maybe there's a world where the dinosaurs survived or dragons exist or some shit like that. You know, that's more interesting. I don't really like this whole, oh, it's all a computer simulation. It's not cool. It's just Matrix bullshit, you know? It's like you're letting a movie influence your belief on reality itself. In fact, there are people out there who are reporting small differences in this reality, and the one they remember before 2012. This is a phenomenon often referred to as the Mandela effect. Below is one of the most famous. Okay, so this is the Berenstein thing. So see, this is the Simpsons, right? You know how the whole Simpsons predicted everything, or Simpsons did it first. I mean, I guess if that's a shot from it, maybe they spelled it wrong on purpose. Like, the explanation that I would come up with for this, you know, the casual explanation that's not taking things too seriously and reading too far into it, would be like, this is what you know, movies and cartoons and TV shows and such do to avoid copyright infringement. They'll go and they'll, you know, change a letter on something or in the title, or make the logo look exactly the same but just slightly different. I don't know if that's the reason there, but that's what I would say. I hate The Simpsons predicted it. Me too. It's annoying. Get it? Simpsons did it? I get it. Some people remember Febreze rather than Febreze. So it's breeze as in like 2 E's instead of 1. Some people remember Skechers instead of Skechers. Skechers as in drawing versus Skechers without the T. Looney Tunes as in they're crazy. You know, crazy cartoons instead of Looney Tunes as in music tunes. JCPenney instead of JCPenney, putting the E in between the Y. The list goes on. If these don't look or feel right to you, you're not alone. Let's see. Let's do a test, chat, okay? We're going to take a look at each of these 4 products, and you can tell me if you think that these feel right to you. We'll start with Febreze. Now, did Febreze have 1 E or 2? Well, we won't keep it here for too long, but we'll see. I'm curious. Okay, I'm moving on. You guys are slow. 1. Okay. So I guess that's correct. All right. How about Skechers? I think this one looks right to me. I don't remember it being I don't remember there being a T in Skechers, honestly. 1 before the Z. Yeah, gotcha. I thought Aldi was Aldi's. Yep, Skechers looks right to me too. Looney Tunes, I don't remember, honestly. I find it weird that it's tunes like music, you know? But I guess. I just don't remember. And JCPenney. This one I feel like I remember just the Y. I could be crazy, but that's how it's always spelled. Okay. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, or Diddy Kong's Quest? Isn't it Donkey Kong Country 2? Looks right. Okay, so we're all pretty good there. The name comes from Nelson Mandela, whom many people believe to have died in prison in the 80s. However, to many people's surprise, his funeral was national news in 2013, and he lived a long and happy life. This story is a little bit weird to me because I've seen people give like written accounts of how they remember his funeral being televised in the 80s and stuff. It's like, that's a really specific, I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that's a really specific memory to have. Lived a long and happy life. It's a very bad picture. And is now burning in hell. Okay, this one is kind of interesting to me. Mandela effect gets much creepier, though. Some people remember the Statue of Liberty being in a totally different location, that location being Ellis Island. It's actually on Liberty Island. Here's a painting clearly depicting the statue at Ellis Island with no other islands nearby. Was the artist just not paying attention? Did he just like it better this way? That is interesting, though. It's just people's hopes mixing up with reality. Let's see. Now, if that's not strange enough, you go on Google Maps Street View. There's a few specific areas of Liberty Island where the Statue of Liberty is just gone. Residue from the previous timeline? Okay, what the fuck? That's edited, right? Or is that... No, come on. I get the feeling that that's not the right location, or somebody edited or something. New York is only accurately depicted in GTA 4. Probably a 360 cam. Do you remember my name being different? Yeah, I remember plenty of them being different. So it's being conflated. Yeah, that makes sense. The account uploading these strange pictures goes by the username of Auguste Bartholdi. That's the designer of Lady Liberty herself. The account also sports his picture from the 1800s. He's Google approved. Like that means anything. Let's see. Apparently, right before the United States entry into World War I, the Germans committed the first act of terrorism on U.S. soil. It was considered one of the largest artificial non-nuclear explosions to have ever occurred. I'm wondering why I didn't hear about this in school. What? Do you remember hearing about that in school? It's been so long for me that I don't remember. I mean, I feel like it's probably in the history book. And maybe it was just not, a part that was really focused on a lot, but it was in there. There was one more thing about... Okay, here we go. This one was the only part that I found interesting. Are the 6 million a Mandela effect? Maybe. So anyways, this explosion is the... Oh, okay, so this is where it connects. Anyway, this explosion is the reason the Statue of Liberty's torch is closed to the public. It's been closed for over 100 years. There's only one problem, though. People remember going there. This kind of... This is weird, because I do vaguely remember... I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I do vaguely remember that you could go up there and look out. Then there's pictures taken from the torch, which is look at the user's profile pictures. Creepy. Were they time travelers? Oh, come on. Now he's getting a little bit ridiculous. It's just like... Also, this doesn't really mean anything, though, because, just because the public's not allowed up there doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able... nobody can go up there and snap a photo, My grandma says things about the torch, too? Wait, what do you mean? Sam Hyde was born as a 300-pound man-beast? This guy doesn't get so. What else we got? So also this weird Twitter account. See, this is where I get okay, that's kind of silly. Weird Twitter account, Statue Ellis Foundation, which makes no mention of Liberty Island at all, and sports a creepy banner photo of people walking upstairs that lead to nothing. There you go. That's pretty cool, right? Going to the torch. No, I don't. I kind of. I would have to ask, like, I'd have to ask some of the older people in my family if they remember, because I mean uh, they come from the New York City area, so I would trust their accounts. That's a weird photo, though. Last but not least, there's this video. It's a collection of Facebook photos where people have tagged their location at Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. However, people are posing in front of and staring at nothing. It's really unsettling. What the fuck? Okay, wait. So this investigation began with a Crocodile Dundee 2 movie still that someone posted and said they did not recall the statue being so close to the Twin Towers. Unphotoshopped. Yeah, that makes it 100% verified that it was not edited in any way. You just got to put that in the title. Okay, next, Joshua apparently recalls the statue on Ellis Island and its history. Blog states the sites from the boat include Lower Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty. 2012 is before the Freedom Tower was built. We just had to share this 1978 look back of lady. Okay, wait. This is the current timeline. The statue is located on Liberty Island as of today, March 7th, 2017. Notice the distance to the towers. Yeah, but that's like a completely different perspective, and not to mention... What? Wait, Lone Freedom Tower is located where the towers were before. People who find this location of the statue off recall the statue on Liberty Island, their history. I think people don't remember things correctly and are just retarded. Well, this using this as proof, like this side shot, and then trying to use that other photo with a completely different perspective, you know, that kind of falls apart for me, because it'd be hard to tell, oh, is this the same amount of distance? I don't know. It's a completely different perspective. In fact, it looks to me, if you did turn it, it would look about the same distance. Heating with 10 lemons, thank you. I don't know. This one seems kind of dumb. Wait, some recall being taught in school that the statue was always on Ellis Island. The statue in back seen here is on Liberty, although it should be closer since it's tagged on Facebook at Ellis. Who cares about Facebook tags? That's not really a valid way to prove locations of things, you know? Notice the next strange photo is not photoshopped. I'm looking. Are we noticing? Come on, hurry up. Okay, wait. I personally screenshot these from Facebook groups which have nothing to do with the Mandela effect topic. Look how warped the... Either that's just like bent, or the photo is definitely edited. Then uploaded them onto a Mandela effect group topic to see what the Mandela effect crowd would say. Next, you will see their reactions. Dum dum dum. Facebook and Wikipedia are shaping reality. Yeah. It's like if you tag something on Facebook, does the location of it actually change? Fastest downvote in the West. Okay, still staring towards the Freedom Tower here in open water, which is the same direction we saw earlier in the Crocodile Dundee movie screenshot. Could they have chosen a blurrier photo? I don't know. comments from the Mandela Effect group. All right, let's see. Today, Google also says it's on Liberty Island, not Ellis. When it's on Ellis, what does it sit on? Not the star? No, it was like a half star where the flagpole is. The side of the island in the corner was a little different with the statue on it. It was more custom for the statue. Now it's just a corner with the flagpole. Okay. I don't really feel like we're learning anything here. Let's skip around a little bit more. These are just comments. $10 of this shit? Really? Flagpole. Okay, wait, here we go. What is this? It's then told on the Facebook group to look up the fact that tourists are not allowed in the statue's torch any longer, only in the crown. Oh, hey, maybe that's what people are misremembering, right? Like going into the crown area and thinking it was the torch instead. See, maybe there's a more reasonable explanation, maybe. Oh yeah, there was also Coronavirus 3 last week tonight with John Oliver, HBO. What? What happened? Been inside the top of the Liberty Tower recently? Oh, yeah, there was one more thing about stuff in movies where it's like it got into this whole big thing about, whether or not there was some of this parallel universe fuckery going on. It was a location on a globe where there's like maybe Australia was in a different location or something like that. Let me see if I can find any information on that real quick. I think it was Globe. I think it was the movie Dazed and Confused or something like that. Here we go. This is probably stupid as fuck too, but I just remember hearing about it passing. So Dazed and Confused, Australian continent on globe, slow motion, Mandela effect. What are they trying to say? That? I mean, that's Australia. Are they talking about the thing next to it? Don't get anything but stupid, goofy music. Yeah, that thing next to Australia. What do they say in the comments? There's a Japanese comment. Also see Mad Men Season 2, Episode 3. There's a globe in that scene that clearly displays the same island. It's even the exact same size and shape. That's where the missing 767 went? Well, it sure isn't the map legend everyone claims it is anyway. I posted this as a comment to the Far Side's DNC video. Let's see. It is weird, right? I don't know. Alright, let's see. Think I got this thing figured out. First, I'm on the fence about the Mandela effect thing. For example, I do remember some things differently. Berenstein Bears is the big one for me, but I saw this one and just went, okay, I gotta do some research. Some people apparently remember an island off the west coast of Australia. They used this image from Dazed and Confused as evidence, a globe apparently showing an extra island. Dum dum dum. There it is. Okay, so gotta be a reason it's in here. Same globe shows up in Mad Men. We'll get I guess we got another screenshot. There it is, right? Yeah. That part I didn't know. I only heard about the Dazed and Confused one. That island was wiped off the planet by coronavirus. Okay. Then they're saying, okay, so it's not identical, but here's another example. Yeah, right there. Very small picture, but I mean, you can see it. So what I'm proposing is that due to that area of the globe being a large, devoid of landmass and islands, etc. area, that it's convenient place for globe makers to stash the key or legend for the globe. And people remember seeing land there because they remember globes from childhood and seeing the key there, not really understanding yet what it was. Now understand if you remember land there and believe there was land there, etc. I'm not trying to discredit you or say you're wrong. Supposedly the Mandela effect says we could both be right, depending on what you believe. I'm just trying to essentially play devil's advocate. Yeah, but maybe they reused the... It's like people remembering historical events or, you know, even something as simple as the different spellings of Berenstain Bears. It's called Mandela effect, though, because the first instance of it was people, I guess, misremembering when Nelson Mandela died. So now, like, any misremembrance of any kind of history or, cultural icon or anything like that, or death, it's labeled as, falling under the Mandela effect. Because it's like a mass false memory or something like that. Repeated watchings, maybe. I don't know. This one is kind of weird. I guess that could be the key or the legend or whatever, but it doesn't look like it because usually it's not shaped like a piece of land. He was alive until 2013 apparently. But people believe that he died in the 80s. Keenan, thank you for the ice cream. Much appreciated. I mean, let's see if we can find like a map legend or map key or whatever. Or maybe I should put globe. That'd be a better way. There's a vintage globe, but I can't see the whole damn thing. All right, here we are. I mean, this is Australia right here. Right? Yeah. I don't see the landmass. I mean, of course we don't know what the legend or whatever looks like on there, but I actually remember hearing that he was alive and that the Mandela effect is fake. What the fuck? Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. All right, that's weird. That is certainly interesting. I had not heard that one. I don't know, the weird ones for me. Let me try to think of some. I know there were like a couple of instances where there were celebrities. And I was like, oh yeah, that dude's dead. And then it's like, no, he's actually alive. Like, I'm fairly certain that James Earl Jones passed away. Because I remember talking about it with my friend. Because we used to watch Best of the Best a lot. Which was one of his movies that he was in. It was a martial arts movie. Cool movie. But, yeah, he's actually alive and he's 89 years old. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe it's one of those things where you think you heard something. I mean, celebrity deaths on the internet are faked all the time. Oh, and I'll tell you when I realized that it was fucked up, it was because when they came out with that new... the new version of The Lion King, and they were Yeah, I think he reprised his role in the, let me see, in the new Lion King, if I'm not mistaken. And I heard his voice in the trailer and was like, "What the fuck? Like, how did they? Isn't he gone?" And then no, he was still alive. That one confused me a little bit. Yeah, and it's 2019 remake he was in. Yeah, he was in the Lion King remake. And so when I heard that trailer, I was like, "Wait, I thought I could have sworn I remembered news that he died quite a few years ago." Very strange. But then I think I looked it up, and there may have been a hoax about his death at one point online, so maybe that's what had happened. I guess he has been the subject of celebrity death hoaxes. Apparently in 2015, although I feel like it was, I feel like when I heard it, it was longer than that. But it's been, that's 5 years, so I don't know. It could have very well been the same thing. It's a weird situation. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this map thing. It's pretty interesting. It also reminds me of, there was another country that kind of stopped appearing on the map. I want to try to find that shit, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it because I don't remember what it was called. Something with a T? It used to be like the name for, I think, I want to say it used to be like a name for Asia or something like that. I mean, I realize that's like a massive piece of land, but you know what I'm saying. There was a label for it. Damn, I can't remember what the hell the name of it was. This guy might have posted something about it at one point, so maybe if I keep scrolling, we'll find it. Oh, here we go. It's the same dude, so I mean, take it with a grain of salt. But I've looked into this one, and it is, it is a thing that used to be on maps. Let me scroll back down here. No, it's Tartary. Maybe that's for the dude that spoke Sakria or whatever. Kind of like the Black Omen, aka Mentally Ill Island, Trans Island. Remember the Jackie Chan death hoax? Yep, I remember that one. I also remember the guy from Boy Meets World. I think it's Tatar. Like, that's a... Let's see what it says here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is Asia and Russia. I wasn't saying it's like some new landmass. I'm just saying it's like it had a different name. And it's just kind of interesting. Okay, so recently something very strange has made its way into my awareness. Referring to the country of Tartary, at one point in the past, Tartary was the largest country in the world, consisting of about 3 million square miles, yet I had never heard of it. I mean, that doesn't mean it never existed or whatever, but, If we shifted to a new timeline with an alternate history, perhaps a more reasonable explanation would be that this country's existence was covered up by communist historians after its quiet integration into Russia. Below is a CIA document supporting this claim. That's interesting, right? Okay, let's see. Or let us take the matter of history, which, along with religion, language, and literature, constitute the core of a people's cultural heritage. Here again, the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on 9th of August 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party, sitting in Moscow, issued a directive order to the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten, let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to Great Russian aggressions and to hide the fact of the real course of Tartar-Russian relations. And this was no isolated case. In every Muslim area within the USSR, historians, on orders of the Communist Party, have rewritten history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in a good light. The Russian bots at it again, way before they even existed. Needless to say, histories which present the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed, so that the present and future generation of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past. Oh, is it the same thing? Okay. He's getting a little bit crazy now. Unknown. Oh, intentionally veiling one's own discoveries, inventions, creations in order to remain unknown, anonymous, or obscure. One of its symbols was an owl. Remember, the owl is often associated with secrecy, dimensional jumping, magic, and even aliens. Is it just a coincidence? Possibly. Most likely. But it is cool and kind of interesting. I don't care about the TV show connections or whatever. Evidence that suggests the story we're told about the Great Wall of China is not really true either. Was it actually built by the people of Tartary to keep the Chinese out? There you go. Too bad. Too bad we didn't have that in current year. Marco Polo, who was said to have traveled to Asia from 1271 to 1295, never mentioned the Great Wall once. I find this odd considering he was known to have documented his findings extensively. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's easy to write that shit, but I don't know if that's true, that he never mentioned it or anything. I mean, Asia's also massive, so I don't know. Is everything we know about history wrong? Some old maps even show Tartary having power over North America. Conspiracy theorists claim Tartary was once a partially global, highly advanced civilization. They supposedly had free energy, pulling it directly from the atmosphere. Okay. Well then, what the fuck happened? The wall going up? This also explains Charles Bronson continually murdering everyone in his films. This one is the most retarded yet. Tartar is an old European term for people from the steppes of Asia. Yeah. I don't know what this building is supposed to be. Tartary power plants were said to harmonize and heal the population through sound waves, huh? However, here we go. This is really getting out there now. However, after a parasitic race known as the Gray Men arrived on our planet, the technology was hijacked. Okay, that's a new one. So the aliens didn't come and give us the technology. The aliens came here to steal the Tartarian technology. That's the big brain take, okay? If you think ancient aliens were a thing to come here and, help advance human technology, wrong. We were more advanced than the Greys. Okay, let's see. Okay, apparently the plants were turned into cathedrals, synagogues, and churches. He was an alien scientist. Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. Conspiracy theorists also claim we are not even in the year 2019. They say the Middle Ages were completely fabricated in order to hide the Golden Age of Tartary. The Golden Age supposedly came to an end after a cataclysmic event known as the Mud Floods. Why do I feel like... there's a mass migration joke to be made in there, but we'll just gloss over that. Anyway, what else we got? Oh, they're trying to say that this is the real Great Flood. No, come on. They somehow links that to the man from Torrid. I mean, we're not in the year 2019, and not anymore, yeah. Well, this thread's from last year, but we have to stop the mud floods. Okay. Well, that was interesting, at least. I mean, look, it's probably not as, not as crazy as Aliens or whatever. But it is interesting because I don't remember ever really seeing anything in, any of the history books throughout school about this. But I guess, if that document thing has any truth to it, like, Lord knows where this is from. It could obviously be clipped from anywhere. But if it's an actual CIA document or whatever, that's kind of interesting. This is like the meme with the guy in the wall with strings and pictures. The man from Torrid, John Carter from Torrid. There we go. Say the schools don't want to teach you real history. I mean, it obviously has to be selective to some degree, but I'm sure there's stuff that's just like left out because of lost knowledge in general. Although I think another interesting stream would be like some early discoveries from I think it was around 1800s and stuff, early American archaeology, and there were like strange skeletons, and supposedly like the Smithsonian confiscated them and kind of like covered up their existence, which I think is kind of interesting. Pretty sure it's related to the Central Asian countries in the Soviet Union at the time. Yeah, it was just more interesting to me that I hadn't really heard the name before, or like that it was a large region. And it was interesting to just like go look up old maps and see that. Kefka account? I think this is all nonsense. Well, so are you going to drop the floating continent? All right. Well, this has been an interesting stream, but I think... Oh, like how they thought mammoth skulls are... Yeah, I have a... what the fuck were those? They're those little magazines. They're very short magazines, and each one focused on an animal. I have one that's elephants. Yeah, I'll open the box right now. Thank you for the ice cream, Keenan. We're going to open the box. Don't worry. It's opening. And the elephant one, they pointed out how they thought that mammoth and elephant skulls were like Cyclops and whatnot, or that's where they assumed that idea came from. What was that? It's like Zoo Books or something? I don't remember. I think it might have been Zoo Books. Did you ever see people debunk evolution? No, I don't think I've seen that. I guess Mockton gets the lion's share. Grim with 19, TNK with 14, Bad Boy with 11, and Mutiny with 9. I'm not on there this time. Drum Boy, thank you for the diamond. Grim with 2 ice creams. Appreciate it. I had a girlfriend that tried to debunk it. Jesus. That's interesting. Well, all right. It has been fun, but I will see you guys next time. We'll try to do something like this again before too long. I'll have to come up with another topic. I think we're going to do like monsters or something like that. Maybe the one for aliens. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's plenty of topics. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for the follows. And I will see you guys next time.